Charges contained in counts 1 through 3, there are also attendant firearm specifications. The state must prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant had a firearm on or about his person or under his control while committing those offenses and displayed the firearm, brandished the firearm, indicated that he possessed the firearm, or used it to facilitate the offense. Firearm means any deadly weapon capable of expelling or propelling one or more projectiles by the action of explosive or combustible propellant. Firearm includes an unloaded firearm and any firearm that is inoperable, but that can readily be rendered operable. When deciding whether a firearm is capable of expelling or propelling one or more projectiles by the action of an explosion or combustible propellant, I may rely on circumstantial evidence, including but not limited to the representations and actions of the defendant while exercising control over the firearm. As to the charge of improper handling of a firearm in a motor vehicle, in case 2206-2276, the defendant must have knowingly transported or had a loaded firearm in a motor vehicle in such a manner that it was accessible to the operator or any passenger without leaving the vehicle, and the accompanying forfeiture specification of the Riley Defense, Inc., R8K 47, serial number B11765. I've carefully considered all of the evidence and the exhibits admitted during trial. I've weighed the credibility of the testimony of all the witnesses, including the testimony of the defendant. It is my province to believe all, none, or some of the testimony of each witness, as well as the physical evidence that has been presented and the exhibits admitted during trial.
When the judge read out the charges, the courtroom fell silent. But what followed was a slow unraveling of one of the most haunting cases this courtroom had seen all year. Mr. Nixon stood emotionless, facing charges that would soon end his life as he knew it.
In creating the situation, giving rise to the shooting or attempting to shoot Tony Marie Westover, and or that you used unreasonable force against Tony Westover. Therefore, I find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt of murder, an unclassified felony as contained in count 1, and the 3-year firearm specification 1 to count 1. I find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt of murder, an unclassified felony as contained in count 2, as well as the firearm specification 1 to count 2. I find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt of felonious assault, a felony of the 2nd degree, as contained in count 3 of the indictment, and the firearm specification 1 to count 3. And lastly, I find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt of tampering with evidence as a felony of the 3rd degree as contained in count 5. The court having rendered its verdict, I am prepared to proceed to sentencing at this time if both parties are prepared also. Before hearing from the parties, I do find pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 294125, State versus Johnson and State v. Ruff, that counts 1, 2, and 3 merge for purposes of sentencing. I find that the defendant's conduct is of similar import and was committed with the same animus. Pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 292914B1G, if an offender is convicted of or pleads guilty to 2 or more felonies, if 1 or more of those felonies are aggravated murder, murder, attempted aggravated murder, aggravated robbery, felonious assault, or rape, and if the offender is convicted of or pleads guilty to a specification of the type described under Division B1A of this section, in connection with 2 or more felonies, the sentencing court shall impose on the offender the prison term specified under Division B1A of this section for each of the 2 most serious specifications of which the offender is convicted or to which the offender pleads guilty, and in its discretion also may impose on the offender the prison term specified under that division for any or all of the remaining specifications. Therefore, I find that specifications to count 1, 2, and 3 do not merge pursuant to 292914B1G. Mr. Perry, would you like to talk to Mr. Nixon about a PSI, or is he prepared to waive that right?
I would, Judge, just a second.
Sure.
The turning point, ballistics. A single 9mm shell casing tied him to the murder weapon. It wasn't just speculation, it was science. Prosecutors made it clear. This was no random act. Nixon fired that shot with intent.
Hi, ma'am. Go ahead. Tell me your full name, please.
My name is Heidi Westover.
Go ahead, please.
I would like to say the day of the 25th, 22. My daughter was murdered, and it was the worst day of my life and her sister's life, and the life of her little girl. And you know, she wouldn't do anything to hurt anybody or anything, and she was a sweet girl, a beautiful lady. I mean, everything you would want in a daughter. But she just got mixed up with the wrong people. And all that happened. And so, whatever you consider, would like.
Thank you, ma'am. Would you state your full name, please?
Amy Perry.
Thank you.
P-E-R-R-Y.
Thank you, Ms. Perry.
I do want to speak on behalf of the father here. I have seen Isabella struggle through all of this. She has seen the YouTube, she's seen the videos, and I know he stated that he's not a monster, but in our eyes, in that little girl's eyes, he is a monster. He killed her 2 days after her birthday party. I wrote this about a year ago, and I'm going to kind of adjust it to today. I never imagined that I would be standing here today asking for justice for my sister, Tony. I should not have to do this, and honestly, it's not fair. Quentin, it has been 2 years since you murdered my sister, Tony. I woke up on July 25th, and I felt this feeling of something being wrong when I seen a post on Facebook.
Then came the toxicology report. Nixon had methamphetamine in his system at the time of the killing. This wasn't just a drug case. It was a cold-blooded murder fueled by chaos and chemicals.
I had so many sleepless nights trying to wrap my head around who could do this and why. Tony was not a violent person, not a criminal record. She was a kind soul, someone who saw the good in everyone, even when they did not deserve it. She didn't deserve this, and our family didn't deserve this, to lose her like this. I always thought it would be us forever, until you robbed us of that. I don't have her to FaceTime, to laugh with. I don't have her to tell me everything's okay when I need her. I didn't get the proper goodbye. When I lost her, I lost a part of my childhood. And a piece of me died that day too. I felt this emptiness, I still do. I started to lose myself. I never imagined our last goodbye would be seeing my sister in a casket, cold and lifeless. It's a memory that I will never forget.
But it's what happened next that truly gutted the room. The victim's daughter took the stand. Her voice cracked with every word as she described how her father's absence left an unbearable hole in her family's life. You could see jurors blinking back tears. This wasn't just about evidence anymore, it was about real pain.
It's the face I see. Sorry. It's the face I see when I close my eyes. The look on her face and how sad she looked. I could barely walk into the room, and when I did, I fell to the ground and I screamed. I was shaking and crying so bad that I had to have my stepdad help me to go up to say my goodbyes. I never imagined this being our last goodbye. It wasn't her time. I'm your baby sister. She was supposed to be here for me. I looked up to her. You took a little girl's mother away. Imagine telling your child that her mother's never coming home. And then imagine trying to explain to that little girl what happened to her. To her mother. And now all we have left is this pendant with her ashes. 12 days before you murdered my sister, Tony, you wrote a post on Facebook, and I'm going to quote what he said. To the younger Jen, remember what choice you make in the street. You got to deal with it on the courthouse sidewalk. Better choices, just saying. And as a man, I stand on my mistakes. And what you said have not only put our family through a lot of trauma, but you also put your own family through a lot. And now you have children being raised without a father. And here we all are due to the choices that you have made. And I speak for my family and for Tony. Are you ready to man up and stand on those mistakes? As Tony's sister and as her voice, I ask the court that justice will be served and that the thanks for this precious life that was robbed of us. And for Tony's little girl, we now have two families that have to say goodbye to a loved one. But the difference is, we don't get to see Tony anymore. I keep asking myself how many years justifies what you've done. And honestly, there's no amount of time that will make us feel any better, because it doesn't bring her back. And at the end of the day, we lost someone special, and we have to live with that for the rest of our lives. And so does that little girl. I hope that what you've done eats you up inside, and I hope her face haunts you. And I hope that one day I can find forgiveness, not for you, but for myself. But today is not that day. I will continue to fight for her and be her voice. I will be at every court hearing regarding this case, even if it's 15 years from now.
Thank you. Who else, Ms. Feaster?
Your Honor, I do not believe any other family members would like to speak. At this time, Your Honor, the state is requesting a minimum of 24 years, Your Honor. That is for the murder. By statute is 15 years to life, and 2 gun specs that shall be served prior to and consecutive, that gets a minimum of 21. The state is asking for the tampering with evidence, not the max, but 2 years to run consecutive, because the defendant was or did go through Rapata, knew an investigation was likely to occur, and did consciously discard the firearm, Your Honor. And I'm asking for the improper handling, a year on that. Again, not the max, but I would like it to run consecutive because he was out on a capias at that time, and the conditions of bond are normally not to indulge in alcohol or drugs, and he was actively taking drugs at that time, Your Honor. That is where the state comes up with the 24 years to life. This is a tragic situation all around, drugs use in general, but
The prosecution painted Nixon as a man with a long and dangerous history. Assaults, threats, drug charges, it was all laid bare. This wasn't his first run-in with the law, but it would be his last. Because when the judge finally spoke, his voice cut through the courtroom like a blade. You have forfeited your right to live freely among us.
Your Honor, my family would like to speak.
Sure. Who would like to speak? Come on up. Would you tell me your full name, please? Thank you. How are you related to the defendant? Okay, thank you. Just speak up just a little bit, because there's...
I'm Quentin's mother.
Okay.
And I haven't been here for any of the court proceedings. I'm a single mom, and I've been the only one that takes care of me and my family. My kids are grown, but I still do what I can do. I'm not here to ask for pity. It's not a pity party. I do understand the severity of what has been done. It might not be today. First, I would like to say my condolences to you all. To lose a child, I don't know how I would feel if I lost one of mine. So I would like to definitely say my condolences to you all. And it might not be today. No, it might not be tomorrow. It might not be 5 years from now, but maybe one day you will find it in your heart to show mercy and forgive. That I can't do anything but just maybe pray that you will do that.
Life in prison. No parole. And Nixon, he didn't flinch. No apology. No remorse. Just a cold, dead stare as he was led out in cuffs.
But at some point, we all make our own decisions. I am aware of that as well. And I just ask if the court would show mercy. That's all I'm going to say.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you very much, ma'am. Is someone else speaking, Mr. Nixon?
Yes, my sister.
Thank you. Would you tell me your full name?
Here Nixon.
Thank you, Ms. Nixon. Go ahead.
I am Clinton's sister. I've been with him my whole life. He's 3 years older than me. It's mostly seemed like I've been the big sister my whole life. but through this experience, he has shown me strength, power, and I won't take that from him. I lost a child last year, so I can't say, oh, I do know how that feels. And I think the word of the day is accountability. Everybody was where they should have been in this situation. Everything happened the way it should have never happened in this situation. However, I do serve a merciful God. I do believe He is.
This case had everything: emotion, evidence, impact, and serves as a stark reminder that one moment of rage can destroy countless lives.